showing off, Q.
And we welcome you to the top matchup of the weekend from South Bend, Indiana. It is number 1 Notre Dame and number 3 Syracuse set to meet here today in the ACC opener from Arlada Stadium. Final Saturday in March. Welcome, everyone. Mike Corey alongside Quint Kesnick. Great to be with you here today. All right, Q, you got two of the best teams in the nation here. Where do you start with this one?
Start with Notre Dame right now, the number 1 team in the country. I watched them play 2 weeks ago against Michigan. In the middle of the game was the best lacrosse I've seen all season. And then you got Syracuse, 9-2. They're 2 goals away from being undefeated. The Orange are back. They're scoring goals. They're playing defense. They're winning faceoffs.
All right, well, starting with the Irish, what do you do? How do you defend this guy? Pat Cavanaugh, what a season again he's having for Notre Dame.
Well, in this series, in 5 games, he's got 43 points. He's been the orange juicer, and those are all Irish wins. Okay, he's an elite competitor. He's a pass-first guy who can shoot it. He hustles, always hustles. He'll ride, he'll scrap for ground balls. He brings the energy. There's the production. I've never seen anything like it. Those are all games, Notre Dame against Syracuse, and he is averaging more than 8 points per game.
It's a big reason why Notre Dame's won the last 6 in this series. What about for Syracuse on the other side? A more balanced team this year. The defense is better.
Yeah, they're winning the middle of the field, but they're close defense. They're making good slides. They're much more buttoned up in terms of their team defense, and their goalie, Will Mark, has been sensational. They keep teams out of the middle and force weak angled shots. They're also winning faceoffs. All of it has combined. Syracuse now giving up about 4 goals less per game than they did last season. You look at the difference in the faceoff numbers from a year ago. They're plus 20% in that department. And what that's done, it's allowed them to play less possessions on defense. They've been fresh late in a lot of close games, and that's helped out Gary Gait and his crew.
And the opening faceoff is going to be won by Notre Dame, by Will Lynch. And we're underway here today, number 1 versus number 3. Well, you see it and talked about it for Notre Dame, their first game in 2 weeks when they defeated Michigan by 10 back on March 16th. And for Syracuse, I mean, Quint, we had talked earlier about this. I mean, they got 11 games already under their belt. They haven't been at home, though. There's a stretch where they're not going to be at home between March 20th and April 20th. Here's Notre Dame. Chris Cavanaugh trying to work it into the middle, and it's going over to the Orange.
Looks like Syracuse, they put Riley Figueres on Pat Cavanaugh. They're polling Faison, and Billy Dwan III is covering Chris Cavanaugh. It's always interesting when you match up against Notre Dame where you put your poll. Do you put him on Dobson? Do you put him on Faison? And how do you cover Jake Taylor? So far, looks like Syracuse covered Taylor with a shorty. They'll probably be slow to slide.
Goalkeeper for Syracuse today is Will Mark, and for Notre Dame, Liam Entenmann. The Fighting Irish here in number 1 versus number 3 today. Bouncer on the way. Off the mark, going to be backed up by the Orange here, putting it back in. Joey Spallina.
2 top 5 goalies in the country. Both tall, both super experienced.
Notre Dame is only allowing 8.33 goals per game. That's the lowest in the nation. They've only played 6 games, so 50 total goals so far in the season throughout the first 6. Behind the back, count it. And Syracuse with Finn Thompson on the board first. Pretty play.
You attack this Irish defense from behind the net with cuts and crease movement. And this is just great energy by Thompson. He loops all the way around the crease. The defender is trailing him and loses leverage. And to increase his angle, he flips that over his shoulder. Muley with the assist. Thompson, who had been in the shooting slump early in the season, with a great start for Syracuse.
12th goal of the campaign, and gets the Orange on the board first here. violation. Syracuse and Notre Dame possession here early on. Another great crowd at Orlando Stadium. First conference game of the season here today between these two.
Look, you better be ready defensively when Notre Dame carries the ball into the zone. Their early offense has been lethal this season, whether it's Ben Ramsey, 24. That was Carter Parlett, 21.
We go back to that last game. Well, they do. In the Michigan game, they were tied at 3. Then they go on a 7-0 run and just put that game away. No trouble in a 19-9 win 2 weeks ago. Pat Kavanaugh fires away wide to the left.
Man-to-man defense from Syracuse, but they were super packed in. I mean, their splits, it almost looked like a zone the way they packed it in. This is the second midfield for Notre Dame. It's been a productive group.
It's Riley Gray, and you called it quit as he scores to tie the game.
This is an area of differentiation, I believe, for Notre Dame, and it'll show up in the ACC championship game in early May, and then maybe again in championship weekend. But to be able to go 2 midfields deep with guys who can get to the rack. Riley Gray last year, I believe, had 16 goals. A certain calmness. He's a grad student, good size, 6'4", 220. He'll run with Bryce Walker and Will Angrick. And in talking to Kevin Corrigan, Notre Dame head coach, he said during their bye week last week, they worked on getting a third midfield unit. I mean, I can't even imagine. That's like so old school. That's like 1960s lacrosse, using 3 midfields.
Hey, they're so deep. Gray with just his 4th goal of the season, though, and it's now tied at 1 here.
Not a great start for Mason Cone and John Mullen, the Fogos for Syracuse. 2 violations already and 1 loss.
Yeah, 1 more 32nd.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, Mike. Oh, you better be careful. You better be careful. They're going to call Notre Dame for goalie interference. The Kavanaughs, they're hijackers. They are bandits around the cage. You've got to be really, really careful with the ball and clear with a sense of urgency. They don't take a second off.
50 and 51 for Notre Dame and White. You're absolutely right. And what kind of pace you think we're going to see here in this one today with these guys?
Well, I get the feeling that Notre Dame can play at any pace, but they like to play fast. Depending on how face-offs go, I would think Syracuse would want to play a little slow. Here, Will Mark's got that clamped, and that's going to be goalie interference. But again, the point is that those guys are hovering, and they're hustling. They're not chilling out and allowing you to scoop the ball as a goaltender. They're making your life miserable.
Yeah, the focus has got to really be on what Syracuse does defensively, especially like you said against the Kavanaughs, because Notre Dame's averaging 17 goals a season, or a game, excuse me, this season. Takeaway here by the Irish. Chris Conlon's got it.
Good trail check and a nice clear. You know, the blueprint to beat Notre Dame was laid out and printed by Kevin Warren and Georgetown. Long possessions. Win face-offs, be really possession. Wear down the Notre Dame defense. They did that. It has not been duplicated since then.
Just over 4 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. Chris Kavanaugh swings it over for Eric Dobson.
Good matchup for Dobson.
Gets a step, takes it right in, shoots, and the save made by Will Mark.
Big time stop by Mark. 6'4", 220. He's a bit of a flopper. At that time, he guessed right, and he went down. Dobson had a incredible size advantage in that matchup, and that was way too easy for him.
Sam English for Syracuse. Check by Nick Harris. This is what you're talking about, right?
Is on Hiltz.
Settled.
Light is on Spallina. Conlon is on this matchup with Muley. Syracuse is going to have to score unassisted goals today. Notre Dame will be slow to double team.
Ball knocked away. And it's going to be picked out by Entenmann.
And Mike, that time they got there with the double. It's a nice wing dodge by the Orange. A little bit of hesitation, and next thing you know, the window shuts in your face. You're getting pinch double teamed, the ball's on the carpet, and Liam Entenmann is there for the bailout.
Gray brings it over for Notre Dame.
Incredible crowd on the far side on the grassy knoll. Notre Dame has caught some breaks. All their Saturday home games this year, the weather has been spectacular, and they have packed the fans in at Arlotta.
Well, you were talking about it last game, Q, about the community involvement and what the Irish have done in this town. It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice mix, Mike, of students and then kids, local players from Indiana. They got athletes from other sports showing up. Obviously, the parents and friends. Next thing you know, there's 4,000 or 5,000 fans at these games.
Bouncer by Pat Kavanaugh goes out.
I mean, look at that. That's a thing
awesome.
of beauty. Thing of beauty. Look at that.
They're in the all green last time they played. The St. Patrick's Day. It was the day before. It was on March 16th. And the bye week. Riley Gray. 10 to shoot. Gets sandwiched, puts it in, and it is good. Gray scores again, and Notre Dame has the lead.
We sat down with Coach Corrigan 2 days ago, and it looked chilly in Notre Dame because he took our Zoom call at home in front of a fireplace. But he talked about during their bye week how the second midfield was a point of emphasis. And here is Riley Gray with 2 unassisted goals, both on wing dodges, and that ball does entirely cross the goal line. This is close, but right there it's underneath and in, and then it kicks out. The entire lacrosse ball must cross the entire goal line. They may look at this. They're gonna look at this in video review. I think the goal will stand.
Well, they'll take a look at it, and we'll step aside. We'll be right back. For the time being, it's 2-1 Notre Dame. Corey, Quint Kesnick, they were just taking a look at the last goal scored by Riley Gray, Q.
Yeah, and the officials take a look at this during the break, which I like because this is awful close. Watch the ball bounce and then come up underneath the post. It hits the net on the way back down. Now, the fact that it hits the net is no indication whether it's a goal or not. Sometimes those nets will actually hang out onto the field of play. But I believe this replay will confirm that the entire ball right here crosses the goal line and then lands. So I like the fact that they looked at that. There have been some cases in February, Mike. I thought that video review was a little frivolous. That was needed, and they got it right.
Yes, especially when it's number 1 versus number 3. You're absolutely right. And the goal counts, and Notre Dame with a 2-1 lead. And to your point about the second midfield there, and Riley Gray, who's on that unit, has already scored 2 goals for the Fighting Irish here 7 minutes in.
The face-off story may be the strongest storyline so far, though. Notre Dame is dominating in that department.
Yeah.
Syracuse already has 2 violations.
And already 9 shots offensively here for the Irish, too. Face on. And quickly the Orange in the clear. Here they come. Carter Rice.
Nice recovery defensively in transition, but how about that defense by the Orange? They get the double team to Faison. They make him a passer. The second slide comes from the goal line extended upfield with a disruptive stick, and they create a turnover. I believe it was Figueres.
English. Orange tracking it down here with Finn Thompson, who scored the first goal of the game here today. Hiltz, Owen Hiltz, knocked out of his stick. Got it back. Defended that time from Ben Ramsey.
Yeah, the one issue you got with the Syracuse attack is that they're not really Dodgers. Spallina's got a matchup here.
Harris is on him. Spallina trying to dump it in front. We welcome you into the game of the weekend here with number 1 Notre Dame, number 3 Syracuse, Arlada Stadium, and just like that, Ben Ramsey fires it through for the Irish. They now go up 3-1 with 6:04 to play in this first quarter.
The storyline so far this game, Notre Dame has been dominating the face-offs. Second midfielder Riley Gray has 2 unassisted goals. And I mentioned this early offense. Ben Ramsey's a defensive midfielder with the green light to go. And he's just given a little too much space, a re-dodge right-handed. He actually hits a knee and is falling to the turf and beats Mark from mid-range. So a transition goal, Ben Ramsey for the 3-1 lead.
Well, you said it, Quint. 4-0 at the face-offs for Notre Dame. Already 2 violations for Syracuse as well here, and it's going to continue in the favor of the Irish. Now 5-0. They win the face-off. They've had goals by Riley Gray, 2 of them, and then Ramsey, who you just saw. Finn Thompson had the first goal of the game for Syracuse to get the scoring started, but it's 3 in a row here by Notre Dame, and they have possession.
Yeah, issues. Time of possession's a major issue right now for the Orange. Coming in 9-2, 2 one-goal losses in overtime to Army and Maryland. Nice wins over Duke and Johns Hopkins. The Orange are back and surging. But this Notre Dame team, if you watch their game against Michigan 2 weeks ago, it's the best lacrosse I've seen anyone play in the country this year.
Pat Kavanaugh.
The passing of this offense, to me, stands out. Everybody's a star in their own role. They've been very unselfish.
Well, they played together for a while, too. You know each other. Obviously, the Kavanaughs here with Chris Kavanaugh now. The ball gets kicked around.
It's nice, D. We're going to have a shot clock issue here.
Woo! Orange the other way. And almost unsettled situation. They fired away. Now it's going to be Muley that's going to put it back in for
You better be ready
Syracuse.
off this restart. That was Spallina with the behind the back to Dwan, looking for his 5th goal of the season. The Orange don't get much production out of a second midfield group, but let me tell you, their Poles, Sam Alexo and Billy Dwan have combined for 8 goals. Their Fogo, Mason Cone, has 5 goals.
It's a tough start, though, at the face-off X for sure for Syracuse here. 0 for 5 to begin play. Luke Roa has it.
Again, score unassisted goals if you're Syracuse, or get the ball behind the net. This Notre Dame defense is going to be slow to double team.
You want to take as much time as you can, too. As you said earlier, Cuba, kind of trying to slow down this Notre Dame team, make them work defensively, but you got to keep it close.
Where are the matchups that Syracuse can win? And Liam Entenmann kind of points to himself as if to say, I should have had that, because Jackson Birtwistle's shot was through a screen.
Birtwistle with his 11th goal of the season. Orange are within 1.
Watch the interference come in front of the goalie's face as this ball is released. He just never got a good view of it. Right there, Muley, 2 flashes right in front. Just enough that the ball goes between Muley and the goaltender. And just like hockey, when you lose sight of it for a moment, he kind of knew it was low and knew it was going to his right, but he couldn't cleanly track it. Birtwistle is a lethal shooter.
Cone finally wins the face-off here for Syracuse. First of the day with 3:45 to go in the first quarter. That's big as they have it back and a chance to tie here.
Yeah, there's no panic. Gary Gaden and his staff. This team is battle-tested. As I said, 9-2. They played just some really, really tight and tense games, losing to Maryland in the Dome, losing to Army, beating Johns Hopkins and Charlotte. They've seen it all, and it's not even the end of March.
You're right. I mean, the 2 losses, both overtime losses to those teams you just said, Maryland and Army, number 4 and number 5, respectively, at the time. They've almost played double the amount of games that Notre Dame has so far this season. 9-2, Notre Dame 5-1. Under 3 to play in the first quarter. Bouncing on the way of that shot is Eric Dobson.
Going to be orange ball. Should be orange ball.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell about Notre Dame. I look at all their stats and their record, and they're 5-1, but they opened the season with 2 tomato cans. So I throw those games out and then analyze the numbers.
Well, you got the common opponent in Maryland there, Quint, and they beat Maryland 14-9, and you had Syracuse falling to Maryland in overtime 13-12.
The Irish are small favorites in this game. Thought the total was grossly high.
What was the total?
I thought I saw 26.5. I'd be shocked
26.
if we got. I'd be shocked if we got that.
Well, we've got 6 so far here in Syracuse, and Thompson ties it up at 3. Second for Finn Thompson today.
He's only a sophomore from Toronto. Really talented hand-eye coordination. Ross Bergmaster doesn't like this double team. He goes halfway. Indecision's bugging me. You go halfway, you get burnt. You're either sticking to your man or you're going and getting there. But that time, the yo-yo ball handler drew Bergmaster's 27 at him, leaving a man open. It's an easy little step down and shot. That's exactly what Notre Dame does not want to do defensively.
And that is the 3rd face-off violation for Syracuse here in this first quarter. So that's going to result in a 30-second extra man opportunity here for Notre Dame.
This group's been lethal this year, 14 of 17. No better group in the country. 78%, I believe. And let's see how Syracuse chooses to play this up. You know, Jake Taylor's your tough decision on the inside. What do you do with 13 and 1?
14 extra man goals this season for Notre Dame.
They're shutting off.
2 minutes to play in the first.
They're pressing out. Top side of your screen.
A little tic-tac-toe there, back over to Kavanaugh up top. Rocket shot, Dobson counted. Eric Dobson, the man up, and Notre Dame leads at 4-3.
Each guy is a star in their own role on this group. It's as strong an extra man unit as I've ever seen. That makes them 15 for 18 on the season. Syracuse uses their junkyard dogs. It's a group of 5 that they bring off the bench. All are backup defenders or midfielders. They've done a nice job killing off penalties, but again, pick your poison. You want the Kavanaughs to beat you? You want Taylor to beat you? Oh, you're going to pack it in? Dobson all day long from distance.
Well, it was Chris Kavanaugh that had the assist. They beat you one way or the other, either scoring or assisting. It's been a phenomenal combination, 4-3.
So you can't foul.
So 2 goals.
You cannot foul this team.
And that's a ridiculous percentage, as you said, Quint. 15 of 18 so far.
15 of 18. I've never seen anything even close to that, Mike. That's crazy.
No. And that's through just over 6 games.
And it's the same set that everybody knows is coming. Everyone that prepares for it. And yet they're 15 of 18.
And spinning around and getting in front, it's going to be Pat Kavanaugh, and he puts it through.
They can take a punch. They've just been relentless this year on the offensive side of the ball. There's no coasting speed. There's been very few shortages or droughts. Figueres struggles with this pick right there. Nice job by Kavanaugh to change speeds right before he got to the pick. I think Figueres wanted to switch. Look, he looks back at his mate there like, I thought we were going to switch. They didn't. And that's just all you need. So a great utilization of the pick behind the net by Pat Kavanaugh.
Well, you said it, relentless. 39 seconds in between goals here, and Will Lynch got sandwiched there for Notre Dame. The faceoff, he's going to come up with it anyhow. 8-1 now. Faceoffs in favor of Notre Dame. And we are under a minute to go in the first.
And all of a sudden, this game's got a high-scoring feel to it.
Right. Well,
I think it comes down to if Notre Dame wins faceoffs, they're going to set a fast pace. If Syracuse can win some faceoffs, I think they're going to slow this game down.
Oh,
Right now, the Orange defense is reeling.
Devin McLean. They are. Let's see if the Irish can tack on another. We were tied at 3. 2 in a row from Dobson and Pat Cavanaugh. 13 seconds to go in the first. Dobson again. Pat Cavanaugh. 8 to go. Cavanaugh rolls back, shoots, he scores with 3 seconds to go in the first quarter. That's a backbreaker.
He's owned the Orange. I asked Ryan Wellner, Irish assistant coach, I said, what's the temperature of the Cavanaugh brothers this week? He said, scorching. Left-handed, off the post, a high release to a low location. Watch this shot. This is a thing of beauty. And then he stares down the Orange bench as if to say, hey, did you forget about me? I average 8 points per game against you guys.
It's out of control. 2 goals in 1 minute and 3 seconds. 95 for his career. He's just the 3rd player in program history to reach the 200-point milestone. And what a way to end the first quarter for Notre Dame, with 3 in a row to take a 6-3 lead to the second. It is number 1 versus number 3 here today. We were tied at 3, but now it's the Irish with a 3-goal lead. Second quarter when we return. In their 7th game of the season. Let's see how the second quarter gets underway.
And now the challenge for Mason Cone, as he easily wins that, is to take a deep breath and say, you know what matters? The next faceoff matters. And you'll find out what he's made of here, emotionally and mentally. Again, faceoff and goaltenders need to have short memories.
Speaking of goaltenders, you got Will Mark in cage for Syracuse. He's already got 4 saves on the day, but has let 6 go through. Liam Entenmann for Notre Dame has yet to make a save. And obviously 3 goals on the board here for the Orange. Now a nice feed in front. They were looking that time for Burt Whistle. Couldn't get it though. It's recovered and put on that time by Luke Roa. And what a race after it here. Let's see who's got possession. Stays with Syracuse.
Putting the short stick on Hiltz and attackman. Hiltz is not a dodger. He's a feeder.
There it is, first save for Entenmann here today for Notre Dame.
Yeah, the challenge with Syracuse is going to be to generate slides. It's an offense that's extremely gifted in terms of stick handling, creativity, passing, shooting. They do not have explosive dodgers.
Well, they were able to generate it on the last goal, right? Q with Finn Thompson. And it got freed up. And now they come through and they score here on this one. That's a great job there by Luke Roa. It's cut it to a 2-goal game.
This is a really horrendous turnover by Notre Dame in the middle of the field. And then maybe to add to that, what's worse is the lack of urgency off the turnover. So ball goes down, change up. You got to make decisions right now to get back into the hole and check up. Rowe does a good job, pump and go. Watch how patient he is with a little twister at the end. Entenmann comes out to crush the angle right there, leaves his feet, and he capitalizes on the goaltender being a little antsy. Great body control by Luke Roa, the sophomore.
And Notre Dame has done a really nice job, though, this season of taking care of the ball. They have the fewest amount of turnovers in the ACC, 3rd in the nation per game with just 13.5. They got 5 so far here today. And Syracuse getting that goal after that turnover, and now they got a chance to cut it to 1. Sam English. English shoots.
English leaves it hanging. He has been victimized by trail checks. 15 in orange.
They get the switch here. Spolina has it. Check it. Yep, Joey Spolina. It's hit.
He's got a shorty now. This is a nice matchup for Spolina.
Ben Ramsey's on him. Spolina over the top of the net.
And that's a good play. You know, you talk about Spallina and how productive he is. He doesn't have blazing speed, but he gives that up, gives a little V-cut. It's an old school give and go down that right-handed alley. It's a nice look. So play without the ball if you're Joey Spallina.
Well, he's tied for first best on the team with 24 goals coming in here today. 5-0 shots so far for Syracuse in the second quarter. There's one, and the save from Entenmann that time, and Finn Thompson's offering. That's 2 saves now for Entenmann.
Yeah, Mike, I like the look. They set that pick top of the arc there, basically, and then slip it for a throwback. Everything was good except the shot location. It was a low release point to a low location, and shooting against the goalie of Liam's ability, that's just too easy.
Well, Thompson's already got 2 goals so far today, and he called it, though, and that one not quite with what they needed. Would have been a hat trick for him here. Would have made it a 1-goal game. Instead, Irish now with a 2-goal advantage, and the save by Mark. Couldn't get the cleanup, though, and it's put in by Devin McLean. And Notre Dame's up 7-4.
Wow, this shows you the difference. At one end, Entenmann's has great rebound control. This time, Mark just lets that one bounce off of his cross. You got to give this a little bit of half a cradle to keep that. They used to call that the Maxwell twist, based on a guy that I idolized named Mike Maxwell. You got to twist your wrist to get that ball to stay in the goalie pocket. A little half cradle. Next thing you know, the ball pops out and McLean's there.
So it's back to a 3-goal lead here. Just over 3 minutes gone by in the second. And the face-off won by Cones. He's starting to pick it up a little bit now here for the Orange, but got knocked out of his stick.
Nice check by Will Donovan, 81 in white, the sophomore from Connecticut. He's a winger, he's a scrapper on these face-offs. Again, Notre Dame has played with great pace and energy this season. I've seen very few lulls. A lot of that, Mike, has to do with their 2 leaders, Pat and Chris Cavanaugh. Because when your 2 best players play with a ferocity, everybody just gets in line and mimics them.
That's the way it's been here. They're trying to knock off Syracuse for the 7th consecutive time. What do you think about this series, too? You know, the way that Notre Dame's kind of owned this series here as of late.
Well, Syracuse, last time they had a strong team was back in 2020, and that was the shortened season. The Orange program bottomed out, and now they're making their way back. When you think about what Gary Gate, from 4-10 to 8-7 last year, and now they're 9-2.
Pretty quick rise. As Cavanaugh got it back for Notre Dame. Dobson shoots. Pat Cavanaugh will put it back in.
Dobson's got a major size advantage. Major size advantage of some of these against some of these Syracuse defensive midfielders.
Well, certainly for him, you said it, yeah, 6'5", 235 for number 8 in white.
They got the reset now, so there's no reason to rush.
Well,
that's nice defense inside. Nice defense inside.
It's 7 turnovers now for Notre Dame. Who you want to see here with this possession? What are you looking for in this set?
I'd like to see the ball behind the net. You know, if you take a page out of that Georgetown, the Hoya game plan, when they came here to South Bend and defeated Notre Dame, they had 5 goals that were initiated behind the net. You got to turn the eyes of this Notre Dame defense. Make them play cutters and make them play crease defense with the ball behind. Because when you're up top and you're attacking downhill like that, you just feed into their slide packages. You feed into Liam Entenmann. I'd much rather see it you attack behind the front.
That was a pass out of bounds to Notre Dame here as they control it with a 3-goal lead. You talked about that Georgetown win, the 1 loss in the season for Notre Dame. The Hoyas won it 11-10 in overtime back on February 25th.
Oh, post. Nice little play. And that early offense. There's that phase again, Mike. I mentioned it earlier. They carry in with confidence. They carry in with a green light. Like they're going to sniff out every opportunity before the defense gets set up.
second post shot that they've had here. Angrick here controls it now for Notre Dame. Chris Kavanaugh.
Covered by Billy Dwan III, the lefty. He's had a really strong season, 35 in orange. He covered Brennan O'Neill in the Syracuse 10-4 victory last week.
Angrick shoots, he scores, and Notre Dame is up 8-4 now, doubling up the orange.
So we talk Kavanaugh's until we're blue in the face, but you look at the midfield goals from Notre Dame today. Riley Gray's got a pair, and now Will Angrick. The power of a second midfield. Invert set. Watch how slow this double team is. Angrick just beats him. Fakes top side. Nope, he keeps going top side, and there's no double team. He gets to a strong right hand. Will Angrick coming back from an ACL injury last season. I thought he showed flashes as a freshman. He's now a junior out of Georgetown Prep.
Feels good for him. Third goal of the year. Yeah, I mean, you said it, Quinn. You're right. You can talk about Kavanaugh's all you want, but I mean, it's not just those two. I mean, there's an unbelievable amount of talent on this team. As you said, the amount of lines they can go with,
and now you get a timeout. That play right there, that face-off play, I don't know if we'll show it again. Mason Cohn does a great job using his body. But watch the Kavanaugh's ride. As soon as Cohn gets this ball on this face-off, he is hunted by 50 and 51. Look, great job by Cohn, right? But all of a sudden the picture changes. Look at the guys hustling from the back. If you're a young player, that's all you need to see. Play like 50. Play like 51. I think it's all come together, and that's why you see him standing room only, man. The grassy knoll, you better have your head on a swivel back there.
Yes, all around this field here today, and what a matchup we have here on this final Saturday in March. Calendar turns pretty quickly. And then you and I were looking at the schedule, too, for Syracuse. Yeah. I mean, they only have 3 games in April. I mean, what
they play Tuesday, Mike. They play at Cornell Tuesday, okay, which is a very important game for the ACC and the Ivy. And it's a very difficult turnaround. After that, they have 2 games in the month of April. I've never seen anything like it. Now, there was some scheduling malfunctions with Duke and Syracuse, and Duke double booking. They've got some issues in the Carry Dome with construction, but like college lacrosse is not in a good place when teams are off on 2 Saturdays in April. We need games in April and May.
100%. I mean, those are the months, April and May. When it really starts kicking into high gear. I'm wondering, I wanted to see what you thought about this. Is another shot off the post for Notre Dame, that time by Chris Kavanaugh. That's the 3rd time they've hit the post. What do you think about these bye weeks, like at this point in the season?
It's not ideal. Okay, Notre Dame's coming off a bye week, and they look pretty sharp today. Gary Gade will manage it well. It'll be an opportunity for him, as he said, to hammer home some fundamentals. Because their schedule was so front-loaded, they did not practice. They didn't have quality practices much in the month of February. They're playing on like Wednesdays and Fridays and Tuesdays. It was just a little bit of a disjointed schedule. I think now the opportunity for them in April is to back up a second. They can work on their fundamentals. They can get fresh. And they also, I think it'll help in terms of player development. That is, freshmen and sophomores who we're not seeing on a regular basis.
Another turnover here for Syracuse. So Syracuse, Quint, has 9 turnovers, and they are all caused turnovers by Notre Dame so far in this game.
I mean, that's the first thing you notice when you transition as a player from high school to college. The speed of the game, all the windows that you used to be able to operate in now suddenly grow smaller. You've got to make faster decisions. If you hesitate, you're usually lost. You got to have a plan in your head and then a plan B. And I think right now, this game's moving a little fast for some of these guys on Syracuse.
Sam English, they feed it around behind the net. 21st meeting of all time between these two. Not at 10 apiece. Irish have won 6 in a row.
It's a nice set so far, but Light does a great job against Joey Spallina. Light's a freshman,
yes,
90 in white.
Christian Muley has it.
Yeah, dodging.
It's not there.
Now, the Orange, this offense, again, you're seeing some wicked sticks, and these guys can shoot it and zing it around, but the ability for a party starter to blast by his man and draw double teams. Muley doesn't have that speed. Spallina doesn't have that speed. Hiltz doesn't have that speed.
English.
So you're going to be slow to double team. You're going to pack it in and be slow to double team.
Oh, bouncer is through. Syracuse getting Michael Leo for their 5th goal of the day.
It's a nice job offensively. They just pounded until Notre Dame splits because of fatigue, got tighter and tighter and tighter to the goal. And if there are 3 guys that the Orange need to be able to dodge today, it's going to be Michael Leo, Luke Roa, and Sam English. Wing dodge underneath, switches back to his left hand, and his ability to clear right there gives him enough angle, and he beats Entenmann. High release to a low shot. That's really nice. The 3 key guys to me on this offense today, again, Michael Leo, Luke Roa, Sam English. They got to get to the rack.
And that was a big one, too, as the shot clock is winding down, and they converted, finally stopping a little bit of a run here. It was a 5-1 run for Notre Dame as they got up by 4 goals. Now it's back down to 3, and the ball's in the stick of Chris Kavanaugh. Off the pick.
Yeah, Dwan's going to throw some lumber at you. 35, the lefty out of Loyola. He's only a sophomore.
Pat Kavanaugh, 2 goals today. Angrick, who has 1 as well.
It's the second midfield group. As we said, they've accounted for 3 goals so far. The guy who's been quiet has been Jake Taylor, their crease attackman. Now, what does that tell you? That means Notre Dame has been slow to support. They don't want to leave Taylor. And so they're holding on their double teams. And that's why Notre Dame scored unassisted goals.
We're talking about number 13 there, Taylor for Notre Dame. But the shot there from Chris Kavanaugh, saved by Will Mark.
A great stop by Mark.
6 saves.
Yeah, that's when he needed, okay? And that can trigger his hot streak. He comes into this game 71% over the last 3 games. He's been on fire. I had him on my podcast this week. What an amazing young man. Danville, California, went to prep school in New England, played at LIU, transfers to Syracuse, credits his dad, Chris. A likable, you got a chance, it's Lax All-Stars. It's about 30 minutes. Will and I just talk like 2 goalies will.
That's awesome. 840 saves in his career for Syracuse. Well, we were talking about how big this matchup is. What about next Sunday right here on the ACC Network? It is a rematch of the title game, Notre Dame and Duke. Coverage begins at noon Eastern. Should be awesome next Sunday right here on the ACC Network. And, of course, streaming live as always on the ESPN app.
Duke with a win this week in the slop and muddy conditions over BU. I'm excited. I'll be down in Durham for that. And there you see the series history. It's a rematch of last year's national championship game. You know, I think Duke clearly has the talent. I don't think that's a question. I'm just waiting for them to take that next step. Their defense seems really strong and tight right now. Where they're struggling to me is in the midfield production. Love their attack. Josh Shawada, Dyson Williams, and Brennan O'Neill. Have seen some rotations from their midfield, and I'm just kind of waiting for them to take that next step. And still, there's plenty of time. That's a cool thing, Mike. It's not even April yet. You know, and so I see people like handing out All-American awards. I see people knighting and coronating teams, and we're just getting started.
Is anyone, to continue with what you're saying, they're further along than somebody else per se as the calendar flips to April?
Well, I thought flipping back, I thought Johns Hopkins, Denver, and Army returning almost 100% of their teams. That's why they had so much success in February. But eventually, if you don't continue to improve, someone's going to reel you in. Someone's going to keep improving. And so far this season, you know, in my eyes, Kevin Corrigan and this Notre Dame team have been the best in the country. What they have showed in that Michigan win, the middle port, I have not seen Lacrosse played like that this season. Virginia's played in spurts, Duke's played in spurts, Syracuse clearly in spurts, but to me, the team to beat right now, you're looking at them and they're wearing white jerseys.
Hopkins leading Michigan by 4 goals in the fourth quarter right now here as well.
That's a final.
Today.
That's a final.
Oh, final. Got it.
15-11 Hopkins wins. Army beats North Carolina by 1 with a comeback. Virginia beats Harvard up in Boston after trailing by maybe 4 or 5 goals in that game. Furious comeback by the Cavaliers.
Got to get my scoreboard updated there. Sorry, Q.
Yeah, hit refresh.
I know. Should I do it automatically?
There's more action today, Mike. There's 76 Division I teams. There's only 1 game tomorrow night, Penn State and Maryland. So everybody else is playing today. There's never been a day in the history of Division I college lacrosse as populated with games as today is right now.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
And you know what the biggest challenge is on a day like today? Getting quality officials to all these sites.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Because you've got so many games on one day.
Two minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first half. Syracuse has been in this position a few times already today, down by 3.
Again, I'd like to see the ball, Mike, behind the goal with some 2-man games. Just plug in the Georgetown tape. The Hoyas dismantled this defense from behind the net.
Going to struggle this quarter here.
Good grounder by Conley. He scoops that. He's got a medium tempo. He knows if he doesn't get to it, there's going to be Syracuse guys there. But he kind of had his head on a swivel, knowing that Sean Light is an outlet.
Notre Dame this quarter is 2 for 12 shooting as McLean brings it into the offensive end. And now with 2 minutes to go.
The Orange defense is vastly improved, really. John O'Derna, their DC, has done a marvelous job. He's basically boiled it and simplified the schemes here. They're playing better on the ball, much more buttoned up in their double teams and their recovery patterns.
Yeah, you had talked about it right from the start, and I feel like more of a balanced team this year. Of course, they struggled a little bit last year at the X. Now that's obviously better. Talk about how the defense has improved. That man-down unit, which we've seen once today, but was scored on with the only extra man opportunity of the day by Notre Dame. They converted.
Yeah, and so the net result is that they're 4 goals better this season defensively than they were a year ago. That's a ton. That's a ton. And you win with effort and the way they ride, the way they scrap for ground balls, the way they understand that, you know, mistakes are going to come their way. They're going to turn it over a couple times. They're going to put the ball on the ground. But you know what? They're going to fight for it and get it back.
Yeah, I thought you had a great point when you mentioned it going to break there, Q. And it's 22-13, by the way, in ground balls in favor of Notre Dame. But you had said it because they were riding, they were knocking the ball away, 50 and 51. You said, be like those guys. And you're absolutely right, because they've also caused 9 turnovers. And then on the offensive end, on cue, Chris Kavanaugh puts it through, and it's a 9-5 game.
This is Chris from the right-handed wing, and this is a little bit of a sloppy, things go awry, let's say. Syracuse is going to challenge this goal. Kavanaugh curls up left-handed and takes a shot. Ball squirts out. Shot clock looks like it's at 0 when that ball was released. If that in fact is synced up. The challenge is a shot clock violation by Notre Dame.
All right, there you go.
Right side of your screen, there you go. Ball has to be released. Oh, that goal is good.
I think he did, yeah.
That goal is good. Has to be released before the zeros. So no challenge, and the goal is good.
Yeah, great job, guys, in putting that together. It's 9-5 here. And, off the face-off, Will Lynch scores it. Four seconds.
The most improved Fogo that I've seen in the country this year. The emotional maturity to ride the waves of success and failure. Remember, he ran first midfield at Chaminade in Long Island, one of the nation's premier private Catholic schools. And so he's a real lacrosse player. He's become a Fogo in college. 50% last year, and now he's hovering around 65%. He is just putting it all together. Will Lynch.
Second goal of the season. And that really hurts. I mean, you're Syracuse, you're battling through, trying to keep this within striking distance, and then all of a sudden you give up 2 goals in 4 seconds. One as the shot clock was expiring, one off the face-off win, and we're under a minute to go in the first half, and Notre Dame has the ball.
That's got to be a record. Russ DeLynn, our stat man, who's helping us today, pulling the greatest doubleheader in sports history.
That's right.
We'll bird dog that during halftime. I can't imagine that Notre Dame has scored twice in faster than 4 seconds.
I was going to say, he can look it up. 8 different goal scorers as well. That came from Russ in the 10 goals that they've scored so far today. 5 seconds left before halftime. And that is how the half is going to end up, with Notre Dame doubling up Syracuse in a matchup of number 1 versus number 3 here.
Hey, let's do better in face-offs. Let's defend a little better. It's not like Notre Dame's defense is blowing me away here, Mike. Notre Dame's made some mistakes on defense.
But their offense, with 10, almost 11, the save there made by Will Mark.
It's a shot. Great hustle, great hustle. Closest to the ball when it crosses that line is going to be awarded possession. Now, you can't be out of bounds. And that's what John O'Derna there in the white sweater is arguing, that the Notre Dame player actually overran that and was out of bounds when the ball crossed the line. But the official had a good angle. He was in position.
Irish 5-0 and leading at the half. See Syracuse 1-1 and trailing so far this season. They've only had 2 losses, both in overtime. We talked about it. Number 4 Maryland, number 5 Army. There's Pat Cavanaugh. It's only the second real road game of the season, with, if you will, true road game for Syracuse. Save again, Mark. Loose ball in front.
One-handed shot by Cavanaugh. Jake Taylor's been really silent. 13 in white, the crease attackman for Notre Dame, who just exploded 2 weeks ago against Michigan. He's being locked up with a shorty, and the Orange have been slow to double team and slide. And so he's been taken out of the equation.
Just underway here in the third. Yeah, here come the flags.
Yeah, flags are down. This is a delayed offside call.
There's only 1 extra man opportunity in that first half, and Notre Dame capitalized on it because of the 3 face-off violations for Syracuse. Been a pretty clean game, really. In front, scored it, and Syracuse gets it with Sam English.
Crazy level of skill on this possession. There's a catch here, a subtle bounce pass. Watch his catch. Watch his catch. Right there. Jam it inside, handling traffic. These guys have crazy skill. Syracuse offensively, the hand-eye coordination, the passing skill, the unselfishness, it's there. It's there. They can line up a scoreboard. The question is, how do they get this Notre Dame defense in motion?
You said about that pickup off the ground ball there and the assist. It was Finn Thompson that fed it to him.
Great catch, right? He just makes that look easy. That's a short hop. That's not easy. The ball comes out there with spin.
Correct.
He gets it in his pocket and seamlessly just dishes it. And that's what you get when you go out playing indoor lacrosse. There's just so many of those handle situations.
And Q, knowing where you want to go with it right after you get it too, right? I mean, he already saw it. Gathered it. English on the doorstep, 10-6.
See if the Orange
it's got to be on the defensive end here.
Yeah, let's see if they can start winning some of these battles on ball first.
Faceoffs are 14-4 in favor of Notre Dame here. Angrick. And a one-handed shot put in by Jake Taylor for Notre Dame. Look at that.
This guy is nasty. Angrick leans in at the goal line. Taylor just steps down, clamps the defender's stick under his arm, got away with a hold there. You watch him just put that left hand, takes control and custody of the stick and says, I don't need two hands. Now that I've neutralized your stick, I'm just going to use my right hand and a slam dunk. This should be a hold on the offensive player for clamping down on that defensive player's stick.
Agreed, Quinn. That's why I was like, why is he just using the one arm here? That's because the other one was being held up, and Taylor still scores it. That is now 9 different goal scorers for Notre Dame in this game. Taylor's got 23 to lead the team in scoring, and it's back to a 5-goal lead.
Can do that same maneuver on an inside roll move when you're an attackman and you drive up. And the cross-handed hold comes under your armpit. You can lock your elbow down, and then you have that defender at your mercy. Yeah, it looks like he's covering you. And if you don't do it, obviously, the refs aren't going to call that holding violation. But you can just pin it against yourself. You really know where that stick is, and it neutralizes the defender.
Pat Kavanaugh. It's so tough to stay with him. That's like you said, that's the first order of business there. McLean gets it back to Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh spending
3.5 gone by here.
Top of the box today in their sets. And, that's what makes Pat so dangerous. He can beat you from X. We saw it off the pick. He's got wing dodges from both sides right there with the swim.
Oh, unbelievable. Back to Taylor. He scores it. You call the cue on the swim move, and then Taylor with 2 in a row on the assist from Kavanaugh.
Like a chess piece that's dangerous in all the different locations. Swim move, draws the double team, trust is made inside. Taylor and Kavanaugh. This is the symbiotic relationship. Swim, inside, one touch, keep it simple. Pat continuing to pile on points against the Orange.
That slide comes over, right, Q, and they go away from Taylor. And Kavanaugh, he's seen it all. It's like, boom, easy goal. Like, what can you do there? You gotta stay on Taylor and then let Pat beat you? I mean, it's so tough.
I like the way Chris Wojcik, their OC, is using him, too. Hidden ball's near with us in this box side. Yep, Henneman's all over. But like, I watch Duke, and it seems like Brennan O'Neal's not as versatile in terms of it. He should be able to win matchups. Top of the box, wing, behind. And I just think Chris Wojcik's doing a nice job of putting Kavanaugh in different positions in different games to tax the defense. It's not always him. There's a good look at Woj. It's not always Kavanaugh coming up left-handed from behind the net, and so I think that offers a lot of variety that makes it difficult to prepare for this team.
That's a great point. Wojcik in his 5th season, along with Ryan Wellner, also in his 5th year.
In basketball, we just run the same play, but we do it from the right wing, and then we do the same play from the left wing, or we can even tilt it and turn it like a dial and run the same play with him initiating from up top. It just looks different, but it's the same stuff. Riley Gray's
and Notre Dame
today, huh? 17 in white. Jordan Faison's been a little quiet, and I wonder if this time of year is going to be rough on him, because he's doubling up with the football team during spring practice and lacrosse. They're going to meetings for football, trying to learn their new terminology.
Mark with the save here. Will Mark with the save.
So we haven't seen as much of 14 in white as we have in prior weeks. He's been electric. They have some new offensive coaches on the football side. And so they're asking him not to participate in practice, but to just stay along with the building of the playbook, the terminology, the installation of the plays. And so when he joins the team at the end of lacrosse season in June, he's not like a month behind.
The slot receiver, right, for Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Football? Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Hartman, the quarterback from last year, told me he was their best receiver at the end of last year. He was the MVP of the Sun Bowl with 5 catches. They've got some exciting wide receiver recruits now in the next class.
I can only imagine that. Your first year, you're a freshman, you're playing football, you're playing lacrosse, you get studies, you're at Notre Dame. Okay, by the way. So, I mean, boy, that's super impressive for number 14 that we're talking about there, Jordan Faison.
Yeah, I just have the feeling that this spring portion, it will be a little taxing for him, and then he'll catch kind of a second wind in May.
What do you think, though, in terms of getting a concerted amount of time, though, on the field, right? Q to kind of be involved in the action and not just...
Well, it's just a lot. You know, it's just a lot for any student athlete. You're balancing, as you said, you're balancing academics. One sport's enough, plus the weightlifting and the film, and then you're adding a second. You know, it's like trying to take 7 courses like I did as a senior to try to graduate on time. You're just overwhelmed.
How'd you put yourself in that position?
But, you know, saw it coming, but I don't know. It was my best academic semester, too. That's the funny thing. Sean Light, 90.
Me too.
He's doing a great job. Sean Light's doing a great job against Spallina.
I improved every semester in college.
I know. You do better as a junior and a senior because you know how to study, you know how to listen, you know how to take notes.
Here's Chris Kavanaugh. Pass up top and falling down, but able to knock it over was Dobson. Got it to Richie Urdelli.
Here's Jordan. He's being covered now by Nathan Levine.
So here he is.
Gets a switch.
Faison. Passes it up. Shot, save, mark that time from McLean. They offer it.
Good angle play by Will Mark. He's big. He's 6'4". I love him. I think he's one of the top 5 goalies in the country. Coming off a 3-game stretch where he's just on fire. 71% over the last 3 games. A lot of that, you know, his defense keeping guys in the perimeter. He's battle tested too, Mike.
Yeah, he's got 11 saves.
LIU, LIU and Syracuse. He has seen tons of shots in his career.
That's asking a lot. Obviously, coming in here against a team that averages 17 goals a game. As I was going to ask you, it's like, well, nice play there.
Yeah, good stick by Conlon. Good scoop by Bergmaster. No, I think in terms of being a senior goalie or a 5th-year senior goalie, you really got to watch your reps in practice because more is not necessarily better. And so typically, early in your career as a freshman and sophomore, you want to see a lot of reps. You got to get up to speed with college shooters. And then once you get your feet comfortable, later in your career, it's about shorter warm-ups, but more intense, more game-like. And so you're trying to simulate game shots. That is shots on the move, shots off of ball movement, inside shots. And so you're going a little shorter to stay fresh, but challenge yourself. Play it like it's a game.
Where's the issue in this game lie on here if you're Syracuse? Because you can't put it on Mark. I mean, he's had an incredible year. I know he's given up 12 goals here today, but you had to come in. You knew you had to come in scoring goals today for Syracuse, right?
Yeah, I think when you're attacking Notre Dame, you got to get the ball behind the goal, and I just haven't seen enough of that. All of a sudden, they're starting to play a little better defense. So the shooting for Notre Dame has been relentless. The shot differential in this game is crazy.
Totally. 40-19 in favor of the Irish. Way too much there as Riley Gray, who scored the first 2 goals, 17 in white for Notre Dame, is going to be scooped up by Mark.
It's a nice dig on the inside. They collapse. Look, this group has improved dramatically. 9-2 RPI around 5 or 6 right now. If you're Syracuse, you got to think you got to hold serve against North Carolina in the ACC, and then I think you're going to get into the NCAA tournament. Now, your seeding is going to be dependent on, let's say, this game. Tuesday's game is huge. You're playing Cornell on Tuesday in Ithaca. It's a tough turnaround. Thankfully, they got a charter, so they'll be out of South Bend so fast your head would spin.
That's what you got to do here. There are 3 games left in the regular season for Syracuse. I mean, and it's March 30th, right? We're getting to April, but
crazy.
At Cornell, as you said, on the 2nd, at North Carolina on April 13th, and home against Virginia on the 20th. That's it.
Yeah, they're holding the Duke win, which is huge. But keep it going now, and you put yourself in position to make some noise in that bracket.
10-4 win back on March 20th. It's Muley. Syracuse, 15 to shoot.
It's going to be a crease violation.
Crease, yeah.
My guess is he got pushed in by a Notre Dame defender.
White 19, hold, 30-second technical, 60 on the shot clock.
So you got the hold, Christian Alakwa.
A talented young player, one of their defensive midfielders. It's one area that Notre Dame is going to have to start playing more guys. I thought it caught up to them against Georgetown. They played Ramsey and Parlett until those guys couldn't breathe and run. They got Alakwa, they got Danny Parker, they got Tyler Buckner.
Owen Hiltz fires it through here for Syracuse.
It feels as if Notre Dame's trying to pull away, but the Orange won't give it up yet. And this extra man goal goes a long way to keeping this game competitive.
PLL College Draft, May 7th, 7 o'clock p.m. We'll have it for you on ESPNU.
Having lunch with Brian Holman, head of the Boston Cannons, later on in the week, just to chat. It's always interesting to get the pros view, whether it's an Andy Towers, Jim Stagnita, Chris Bates, or Coach Holman, as they watch games and go to practices. Bill Tierney, a huge announcement this week. Bill Tierney is going to be coaching the Philadelphia Water Dogs. You talk about validation, like your college fans that I see, and they say, oh, I don't want to watch the PLL. You got Bill Tierney now coaching in the PLL. What more validation do you need? Like, come on, people, jump aboard. It's really good lacrosse. It's a lot of fun.
One of the best
see something.
all time.
I see something every week in that league that blows my mind. It's it's pushing the game.
71 years old. Yes.
Pushing the game. It's pushing innovation. It's pushing what athletes can do on the field at all positions.
And how about another goal for Notre Dame? Jordan Faison, who we were talking about. He's been entered here into the third quarter, and it didn't take him long. He puts one through, his 14th of the season.
Most of the work I've seen Jordan do has been in front of the goal. He takes this restart. Turbo off the pick. See you later. Severe angle shooting, left-handed. He's just continuing to build his resume, so to speak. The skill sets we're seeing on a weekly basis, just more and more and more from a dodging, passing, and scoring standpoint. He's a weapon. To me, he's one of the reasons why this offense has taken a giant step forward this season. Party starter supreme. Automatic double team. You got to send it to Jordan.
I don't know how you cover this team, Quint. They've had 13 goals by 10 different goal scorers, and they're doing it against number 3 Syracuse. They're up 6. Heads up.
It's been good, and you wonder why the people are packing the grassy knoll to come watch it, because it's a lot of fun. They're the team to beat, no doubt. As March comes to a close, at the beginning of the year, I said Duke and Notre Dame, there's a good chance we could see a rematch. Well, Duke hasn't quite matured the way I expected it to. Notre Dame has. Notre Dame has been everything that has been advertised. They supplemented this roster with some great graduate transfers. Their young players, their new faces have been outstanding, and they're playing an exciting brand of lacrosse, and that's why this place is wall to wall.
You just saw it. I mean, it's an incredible crowd today at our Lotta Stadium. Sun shining here from South Bend. And the Irish, who've been knocking on the door for so many years, right? And they finally break through last year, the national title, and a save here by Entenmann in goal. And player down for
Chris Conlon.
Chris Conlon, yeah.
Chris Conlon had an investment banking job this fall and came back to school Came back to school as a grad student. That's good to see him back on his feet. He's played a strong game today. Holy Cross transfer, New Jersey native.
Defenseman right back up. It's good to see he's right. And with just 2:21 to go in the third, Notre Dame hanging on to this 6-goal lead.
There's the wide shot from the far side of the field. It looks towards the football stadium and the indoor facility. And Conlon, the real world can wait. I want to put on face paint every Saturdays and go have fun. I don't blame him.
I mean, this team with a chance for back-to-back national championships after all those years of getting so close. And you see this place packed, and they're only going to have one more opportunity here at home to watch this team. And that's April 20th when they take on UNC. Good movement here by Syracuse. Nice clear. Still time in this game, and they got to get something going back to back. They've struggled face-offs. That has not helped. 16-6 in favor of Notre Dame. Movement, a little bit more of a sense of urgency, and they're 1 for their last 10 shooting. Roa. It's off but backed up. Christian Moulet will put it back in. Minute 10 to play in this third quarter. 3-2 scoring in the third in favor of Notre Dame. It's a 10-5 game at halftime. Trying to get it down low there. Now it's loose and it's picked up by the Irish.
Great grounder and good circle by Antiman. Conlon's in trouble. He too gets away from it. Really nice play by Antiman. Was decisive, saw the ball on the ground, said I can get there. And do I have an exit route? Yes, I do. Runs to safety and makes the play. It's where his game has improved dramatically over his career. Corey, he used to be kind of hesitant around the goal, scary outlet passes. Now he's dishing it from back there.
What do you think about the evolution?
This is trouble. This is trouble.
Let's see here if Syracuse gets something going here with the final 15 seconds of this quarter. It'd be big if they can put one through behind the back pass in front. I don't know if that's what you needed.
Yeah, I know there's not much time left, but please. Yeah. Do you want to win? You want to win championships, or do you want to become popular on Twitter and Instagram?
Don't need that. Down 6, and that's how the third quarter is going to end up. Notre Dame leading 13-7. We'll be back fourth quarter from South Bend after this. That was awesome, and number 2 Virginia moves.
There's not much cross-pollination between leagues now, as league play has started across the country. That's why Tuesday's game, Syracuse at Cornell, is so important when you think about impacting the RPI. When you look at the ACC, it looks like everybody outside of Carolina is in position to make the NCAA tournament. Still work to be done, but that's in the direction that it's headed.
Fourth quarter's underway here.
Yeah, Big Ten has had a strong season, and the Ivies, they're putting up goals. The Ivy League has some really fun offenses to watch.
Bounce shot. Moulet will put it back in here for Syracuse. One for their last 12 now shooting.
It's a nice little set play there. Wing to wing. There's a down pick set, and then Hiltz pops left-handed for that shot. It's a good set play.
Thinking quality of shots too as well. Clint, that one's better, and it's saved from going in by Entenmann.
Memories of last year's game up in the Dome where Entenmann had the ball on his stick and then the ball went across the goal line. It's not a loose ball, so it was no goal, and the game spun in a completely different direction with Notre Dame scoring 9 straight goals. Entenmann's got some magic tricks on that goal line.
Yes, 6 saves, couldn't get that one though. And finally, Syracuse. Thompson puts it through. It's been forever, it feels like, since they've scored one here. It's back to a 5-goal game.
Notre Dame hasn't put this game away yet, and so you got to be careful. This was a great offensive possession. Muley draws a double team from the wing. Not sure you want to go there. Muley's dodging left-handed to no angle, and Notre Dame sends the double team. Why? Two in orange is not a threat to beat your goalie there. His angle is decreasing, and that's a bad slide, and bad slides get punished. Thompson from point-blank range.
Yeah, just a second goal in the last 15 minutes.
They're hanging around, though. Like, they're hanging around. Notre Dame has not been able to just put them away entirely, so.
I was going to say another area that has been troubling for them here is 16 turnovers, but then you look at the other side, Notre Dame's got 15, but they're leading by 5. It's just other facets of this game in terms of ground balls and face-offs won. They're a plus 12 in that department today. And timely goals, too. One as the shot clock was expiring. They got one off the face-off that took 4 seconds. They had back-to-back goals scored in 39 seconds. They've had some good runs here. Here's a save by Will Mark.
Really well tracked. Mark tracking that pass, and so he's ready, locked in, and seeing the ball as it hits Devin McClain's stick. You don't want to turn with the pass. You have to turn ahead of the pass. So that McClain catches it, boom, you're ready. And he was.
Well, it's his 13th save so far here. Can Syracuse capitalize? In front, they do. Score it. And that time, it's Spallina, who we were just talking about during the break. He only had 3 shots up to this point, and his 4th one is his first goal of the game.
Yeah, this is, again, Kevin Corrigan might have to call timeout here because his team is kind of in a little bit of a funk here. And this game's not far from over. Okay, that's a slow break in transition where Orange is, they've been really efficient this year in that category. Great look, Spallina with the layup. Stop on defense, and all of a sudden it's a 4-goal game. We got 12 minutes to play, folks.
Quinn, kind of feast or famine here with Syracuse scoring today. They had 2 goals in 15 minutes. Well, they just scored 2 goals in 55 seconds. And the face-off violation.
Here they come now. And their bench is perked up. They haven't gone away, and their defense in the second half has been much better. They've only given up 3 goals since halftime.
This is big right now.
They score again, you're going to see a timeout, Notre Dame.
I agree with you on that. Thought we might have just saw one here before this, but Steven shoots, it's not there. And it'll be Christian Muley to put it back in. Off the pick. Crossfield for Roa. Roa shoots, he scores. Luke Roa. Syracuse mounting the comeback. Their bench is fired up for good reason. It's a 3-goal game.
Effective skip pass. Boom, right there. I think it's Muley. Parlette's a bit caught on his heels, and so Roa's able to run at him. Catch, run at him, plant with the left foot, work to the middle of the field where your angle is much better. Again, left to right. Boom. Sidearm shot back to the near post.
What has got into the Orange now? 3 goals, 3 straight in 1 minute and 33, but a face-off won by Will Lynch. Good job to break it up.
Important possession now. You got to get the ball to your studs. You got to get the ball to Pat Cavanaugh, 51. I'd like to see Dobson or Faison from the midfield. They come out with the second group. Wow, that's a show of confidence in the second midfield group.
You talk about importance. How about if Syracuse can get a stop here? Get this ball back with a 3-goal run in progress. Gray. Riley Gray shoots over the top of the net there. And he was the guy that scored the first 2 goals of this game today off that second midfield line, Quint, that got Notre Dame going.
Very aggressive today.
Pat Cavanaugh. Stick is on the turf. It's going over the Hughes. Yep.
Great check, and then Taylor continues to play without the stick in his hands, and that is that's illegal, and so you have the turnover. Hughes is emboldened. Give them credit. They fought back. I love their energy right now. You feel a little confidence surging. Notre Dame's going to have to dig in to get this game won.
For sure. Both teams have really done a nice job of, getting their sticks in there, causing some turnovers. I mean, that's 10 caused turnovers by Syracuse. There have been 11 by Notre Dame. Finn Thompson swings it up for Sam English. Here comes the flag. Multiple ones. This is big as the Orange will go on the man up here. Spallina's got it. Still kept alive here, Muley. Penalty coming up on the Irish. English. Yeah, no need to force it. And that's going to be picked up by Notre Dame. And here comes the penalty call.
Feels like the Orange have had some success now with some high wing dodges.
Each team 1 for 1 on the extra man today. Second opportunity coming up for Gary Gates' squad. As soon as we get the official call. 9:57 to go here in the contest.
1-0. Cross check. 1 minute. Reset the shot clock to 60, please.
Jeff Ricciardelli with the cross check.
1 minute standard time by Angrick right there. They could get him for
10.
They could get him for direct contact to the head and neck area and make that non-releasable.
Yeah, 1-0. Angrick, number 10, with the cross check. So Syracuse here, 50 seconds behind the back pass. It's back over to the stick of Spallina. Working up top, back down low, extra pass. Oh, what a save!
Oh my gosh. Was that a save?
Syracuse still has it here. Burt whistle.
Nice hustle by the Orange to fight for that ball back. Just
Ball
run.
is knocked down.
Just run. Good play. That save, though, man. He's made a couple magical saves this season, but that one takes the cake.
We'll show it to you. White made the play, though, as you said, defensively. Number 90 for Notre Dame. Stopping the extra man opportunity for the Orange, which is going to expire, and we're back to full strength here. The Irish are.
Liam Entenmann, the grad student out of Chaminade, Long Island, product of the Massapequa Mud Dog Rec Program.
Another flag.
He has found that level point, that calm mind, but what we've seen is never quit, never give up, never quit. Dive right across the goal, boom, gets his stick on it, pipe to pipe. You got one chance to make this, you may as well sell out. He turns, pivots, sell out. Incredible, incredible save by Entenmann.
That was awesome.
Just not going to quit.
Right.
Just not going to quit. In his mind, he can make every save. See if that can light a spark under a Notre Dame team that's quite honestly been pretty flat here in the second half.
Yeah, they do need to pick it up. They've given up the fewest amount of goals per game with 8.33. So far, 10 on the board today for Syracuse. Extra man here for the Irish. 40 seconds to go.
Pressing out to Pat Kavanaugh at 51. It's going to be Taylor.
What do we got here?
Taylor's glove fell off, and he had the ball on his stick.
Lost his glove, yep. .25 seconds left. Extra man. Kavanaugh's working it back and forth between each other. Chris shoots, and that is off.
Great defense. Great defense. These guys are moving their feet. The sticks are up in the passing lane. They're attacking shooters. They're getting in their vision, getting to their hands, getting to their feet. They're moving. Junkyard Dogs. Here they are off the bench, all 5 of them.
Yeah, the man down defense working well here. Once again, though, they'll have it back. Notre Dame with 4 seconds to go. They're 0 for 4 shooting in this 4th quarter.
Now, the problem with the Junkyard Dogs is after these penalties.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Like,
They get the shot clock violation, to their credit. Now, the challenge with the Junkyard Dogs is after penalties, let's say Notre Dame controlled there, and then all of a sudden Notre Dame's feasting on some of these matchups. And this, can the Junkyard Dogs clear? So it's not as easy as just rolling them out there to play man-down defense. Okay, penalties end, and you've got to clear it once you put the ball on the carpet. And now, Notre Dame's going to have some favorable matchups. If you're Notre Dame, you want to isolate some of these guys who are on this Junkyard Dog team. These are 2nd and 3rd liners. This is something you hope to have gone over during the week.
Yeah, in terms of, preventing goals in those situations, they've only given up 2 man-down goals in the last 7 games, and then they gave up 1 here today. So they have been doing a great job, like you said, afterward. What happens there? What happens here is a goal scored by Eric Dobson for Notre Dame and puts it back up 4.
Big-time smoke from Dobson, left-handed with his feet set, staring the goalie down, but that's all about the ride. Everything in South Bend starts with effort. It starts with grit. It starts with hustle. They're going to chase you down. They earn the restart, they earn possession, and then it's Dobson, flamethrower, Irish up by 4.
That was so big, that last one he just put in. Syracuse had those 3 in a row goals that you just saw in 1 minute and 33 seconds. But then that big one from Dobson. What does the Orange have here? Opportunity to cut it right back to 3. Another save from Entenmann on the shot that time from Burt Whistle. Players going down all over the place. 14th save.
Let me tell you, City Lax has been raising money off of Kavanaugh ground balls. Every ground ball, the Kavanaugh's donating $10 to City Lax. City Lax needs a deal with Liam Entenmann for saves. Eamon McEnany, former Fighting Irish defender, spearheading City Lax, which is a great initiative, using lacrosse to teach life lessons and open up opportunities for young people. Not the time for Notre Dame to take their foot off the gas, but it is the time for them to kind of really manage clock and score, okay? To work a bit into the shot clock, continuing to attack, but understanding.
That's a good point. They can bring it down to around the 4:30 mark or so, 35, depending on when they put a shot on here, as Kavanaugh controls it. Chris Kavanaugh. 13 saves for Will Mark today in goal for Syracuse. It's 8 saves for Liam Entenmann for Notre Dame. And You just saw the amazing one that he had just a few minutes ago. Here they come, and the ball shot from behind that time, and a shot from Faison.
Where's that chin strap up around his mouth? It's kind of awkward.
It's Pat Kavanaugh. Shot clock's at 15. Chris Kavanaugh, save mark. That is his 14th of the day.
Yeah, beautiful stop. The hand-eye coordination, the top strong hand. You know, that right hand is your power hand as a goaltender. Will's big. He fills up the net. He's got a wide base. He likes to flop. That time he stayed honest and true. He saw it and makes the move.
Oh, it's Syracuse. They are not done. That goal scored by Jake Stevens. Right back to a 3-goal game here.
A lot of trust. A lot of trust in Stevens as a two-way guy. Look, Stevens says throw it down, and then he cuts the crease a little. Lacrosse is a visual game. He presents the target, and the ball is on the money.
Transfer to Princeton.
Yeah, he's been dealing with something now throughout the season. Played a lot of games at Princeton, 50 games at Princeton. His value is as a two-way midi. He can play wings on face-offs. He's a great defender. Looks like he's dealing with an injury now. Well, here we go. If you're the Syracuse defense, you make a stop here, you're going to be, you know, as long as it's the margin is like, say, 3 goals, as long as you have 3 minutes, you're in good shape. 2 goals, 2 minutes. 4 goals, 4 minutes. So there's still a lot of hope here.
Each team has both of their timeouts remaining with 4 minutes even to go in the contest. Ball knocked around. Let's see who can get it. It's Notre Dame. They've got it back. And the 3:40 remaining in the contest. Shot clock down to 30. And a stick check there on the shot from Angrick. "27 seconds to shoot. Here's some Kell. Over to Pat Kavanaugh. 10 left.
Balance the field here late in the shot clock.
Kavanaugh in front, behind the back there on the shot. This is going to be Syracuse possession with 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go.
Good D, now an important clear. Orange have 2 timeouts.
Notre Dame has kind of left this door open here a little bit. This second half shooting, they're 4 of 20. And Syracuse has closed the gap. They're going to call a timeout to talk it over with 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining and down 3. Okay, so here we go. 2:54 left. Sam English will start it off for Syracuse, down 3. Being marked by Ben Ramsey. Michael Leo's got it, gets a step, takes it in. Leo shoots, he scores. Just like that. Took him only 11 seconds after the timeout. And Michael Leo has made it a 2-goal game.
He loves his left hand. He just catches this up by the top of the box and runs straight downhill. Defender is trailing him a bit, and he gets his hands free, and there's no double team. Notre Dame very hesitant to slide to one of their poles. So the Orange run the weave up top, created an advantage. Leo with a good burst of speed.
Couldn't have asked for anything better coming out of that timeout. Now they win the face-off, where they have not been good today. They were 20-8. But getting them at the crucial times, and this obviously being one of them with 2.5 to go. And the ball with a 2-goal deficit. Spallina. Joey Spallina's got it. For English.
Oh, it was there.
Trying to go down low
It was there.
Yeah.
I tell you, Notre Dame's defense, if you break down the Michigan game and you break this game down, there's some mistakes, and they're being cleaned up by Liam Entenmann. And sometimes as a team defense, you don't really realize it. But, like, let's not forget the diving save. Let's not forget a couple of those other saves. This defensive effort has not been up to par for Notre Dame, especially in the second half.
20 turnovers by Syracuse. There have been 17, though, by Notre Dame. And what about defensively here?
Now you got to press out. Now you got to press out. Oh, I do not like that possession at all for Notre Dame. What are you doing?
Really don't reason for that.
It was 50 seconds on the shot clock.
Could have used way more time. Instead, Syracuse back the other way, and they didn't have anybody there for the backup. Crucial mistakes here down the stretch. Really 3 in a row. They're on a bad pass. Notre Dame shooting when they didn't have to. And then this shot going on, Quentin. Nobody was there to back it up.
Entenmann surveying. That's got to be a hold. That's going to be big. Now you press out, and Notre Dame's ultimately going to go on a power play. Differential in the clocks. What is it, Mike? 4 seconds?
5 seconds, yeah.
5 seconds.
McLean, there comes another flag.
Cross-checking. Frustration.
It's going to be tough now. Yeah, I mean, you want to get the ball back. I mean, but Notre Dame just has to play keep away here. Like you said, it's a 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And even when Syracuse gets it, it's going to be Notre Dame balls. There's been multiple flags thrown, and the Irish
showing off his agility.
Pat Cavanaugh's
going to pay the price. Let me tell you, he's going to pay the price going in there.
These two teams do not
like each other. They do not like each other. And if you're Cavanaugh, you got to know that that's coming. But the Orange fought. I give them a lot of credit for the effort that we saw in the second half. The game got away from them in the end of the first and the second quarter. Down 10-5 after this game being tied at 3 apiece. Multiple penalties against Syracuse, and I think 1 against Notre Dame.
Orange 2 with a hold, 30-second technical, and Orange 2 with the offsides, 30-second technical. We got 19 Orange with unsportsmanlike conduct, 1 minute, full time.
Ooh, 3 penalties all in the Orange. I thought they might get a Notre Dame player after the whistle.
Well, at this point, just 60 seconds to go. Notre Dame going to get 7 in a row over Syracuse.
Wow, Kevin Corrigan will just hold this ball out. Now, if they come out and start swinging their sticks at you, we're going to throw the ball in the empty net. You can back off. If you want to challenge us, fine. We're going for goal 15 if you do. It's an empty net right now.
Chris Cavanaugh. 10 seconds left. And Notre Dame with a huge crowd here today on this final Saturday in March. Charlotta Stadium, they witnessed a 14-12 win for the